Area 52, Chris Ramsay, Lue Elizondo. Lue 3.0, not too bad. Still a lot of parables and motivational poster quotes and a lot of trust me, bro, I can't talk about it because of reasons. And one of my main criticisms has always been, I don't think he's really whistleblowing. He's not really telling us anything that we don't know already. Like we've heard all this stuff way before he ever showed up and told us about it. And then he says, but I can't tell you any of the other stuff that I've seen or read or heard or know because of reasons. So he's not really whistleblowing. Turn on your fucking mics. Episode 1, the sDm files. I'm your host, Shotgun Mine. Here we go, the headliner show, which is, one of my favorite channels, podcast shows. Area 52, Chris Ramsay. It has been the channel that I would recommend to anyone that I was just like talking to in person for like the last few months. I don't even know how many months. And it's on the, not really the extreme end of the ufology spectrum, close to the extreme end. He's really in the woo category. But the way he covers stuff is not really category coverage. And also he's probably like a Corbell clan, Corbell camp, UFO bro. And he's poked fun back at me on X a little bit. I've gotten, I leave smart ass comments on X, on his X. And so anyways, the reason I said people would be surprised is because Lue Elizondo is not really my favorite character. But Lue Elizondo 3.0 is the best Elizondo so far. And so as he's gone from having about like 18 hours of internet time for a bunch of years, just recently, after, what I call Elizondo 2.0, which was Goosh, as Lue says. And now, since his book and right before his book, he's kind of redropped and been repackaged. And it's been better. So Elizondo 3.0 is pretty good. This is, I think, Elizondo's best internet appearance ever. His best appearance ever. In all the years of Elizondo and everything, this is the best interview for Elizondo and by Elizondo. And so I was surprised by that because, you'll see me say it all the time on X that, it's been years and it's been a bunch of interviews and you can see hours and hours of this guy on stuff like Toe. And he doesn't really say much. He says a lot of stuff. And I would say that he speaks in parables and 5th grade motivational posters, pretty much purely. He'll say, well, let me put it this way. What if we found a cell phone and King cuts to him? It's like, okay. And that's a cool thing to say, dude. But it doesn't really mean anything. It's like, that's what I mean when I say that. And like, don't really love watching coverage of Elizondo over and over and over again. And people that, post it all over the place. YouTube and X, etc. and everywhere. But this was the best one, and I was talking shit beforehand, I'm sure, on Area 52 or at Area 52 on X. But this was good. I think Chris Ramsay, the magician, I think he did a really good interview with Elizondo, and it's long, and Elizondo's talking forever about the Cold War and everything else. And they touch probably almost every topic in ufology. Not too much woo, not too much nuts and bolts. It's a lot of the same, Elizondo stuff. I gotta be careful how I answer that. I'm just a regular guy. And he wore a good hat this time. Sometimes he wears really crappy hats and he looks like a fucking doofus. So this was done well. I was really surprised. I was really happy. I wasn't expecting it to go this well. So I think Area 52, Chris Ramsay did a really great job. It's a long interview. They kind of touch on everything. I don't remember where it was. I think the one I liked the most, little exchange, which was about cattle mutilations, was around. So I think it's around the 2 hour 40 minutes mark is where they maybe it's an intern or a patron question or super chat question, something like that. They put on the board, but it was about cattle mutilations, and they talked about cattle mutilations, and I really feel like the way that Chris's questions went, and one of the reasons I say that over the last few months since I've been watching every episode of Area 52 and would recommend it to people as like this is a great way to kind of like wade your way into the topic, is because I like the way that Chris Ramsay talks and reads. And if it was going to be ufology and not like something a little bit more heebie-jeebie, like remote viewing or Monroe Institute, then I would say, go watch his episodes, Area 52 episodes on the 4chan whistleblowers or whatever he calls that, where he's reading through the 4chan stuff. And it's really great. I put Chris Ramsay up there with Morgan Freeman and everyone else that always gets mentioned. Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, as just reading stuff and listening to someone read stuff. So he asked great questions, and a lot of them were, feel good. Like him and Elizondo are getting along. Chris is deeply into the subject. Lue's deeply into the subject. They both seem to be authentic. Even Lue comes off authentic. Lue 3.0 comes off as pretty authentic. And they're laughing and smiling and having a good time. And it was a good interview. And this was a long thing, we heard about everything under the sun. And then whatever they talk about cattle mutilations. And Chris kind of pushed back a little bit like he'd been doing the whole time. Like he'd been pushing back in some stern and some not so stern ways, but a really persistent kind of pushback, and even having a section right in the middle called frustration, which was all pushback really. And letting, if you're giving them all the benefit of the doubt, etc., letting Lue say his piece, explain himself, even on that part, even if you didn't really like his explanation, which is essentially that he's a normal guy. He's not rich. He doesn't have fuck you money. And he thinks that the big bad government will fuck him up. And so that's why he's not going to go over the line. But he is able to go, as far as he has gone, up to the line and a little bit over it, or whatever. So, enough on that, really. That was the headline story. It was really great. It's really long. You should watch it. Make sure I didn't miss anything on that. Yeah, like I said, great approach. It's a little bit same old as far as like Lue Elizondo goes, but it is Lue 3.0, and the way that Chris did it is not same old.